Good morning, everyone, and welcome to the Sunday service of Now Creations. Let me begin by saying that it's just a joy to be here with you, just to be in this space together, knowing that what is going on within me is going on within you. What is going on within you is going on within me. We share a common space. We call that spirit. It's the most wonderful thing in the world to be spiritual friends, to be friends in spirit, assisting each other in our growth. May I just take a moment to talk with you before I begin the teaching today? We here at Now Creations, in all of our groups, are going through a period of very high consciousness awareness. It is a wonder to behold. We are growing in a wonderful consciousness, and my presumption is that your life is much more improved, as is my own. And yet the improvement is simply a foretaste of what is to come. It has been quite a ride. It will be quite a ride. And what a joy it is to ride together, to be on the same bus, helping each other, helping our family and friends, and helping humanity. That being said, I would like to immediately move into the title of today's teaching. The title is The Power of Witnessing, or The Power of Testimonials. Let me begin with two introductory comments. First, I had intended to give another teaching this week as a follow-up to our three-part teaching on the theme, You Are Ascending. However, I was so moved by the testimonial at our Open Forum meeting this past Sunday and the nuts and bolts practical teachings that the entire Open Forum session brought out that I felt it was very important for me to bring forth some very practical points, which basically will be, in a sense, the substance of today's teaching. Secondly, while I admittedly have not studied the psychologist Carl Rogers and his work, there's a quotation from him that has always rung true to me. He said very simply, "When I speak most individually, I speak most universally." When I speak most individually, when I speak from that place within me, I speak most universally. This quote simply indicates to me that we all have a common spiritual center. And when we speak from that center, from our common spiritual center, we truly speak to the common spiritual center that is in all of us. Truly, in our spiritual center, in our common space, we speak heart to heart. With these 2 points in mind, there is no need to mention the name of our speaker, although you received an email concerning her very inspirational message this past Wednesday. But rather, what I would like to do is to acknowledge the universal themes that she presented. For while she spoke as an individual, she spoke from her universal spiritual center, which is the very same center in each one of us. She spoke from her heart to our hearts. One common heart. There were 7 very practical remarks made by the speaker that I would now like to share with you in this presentation. First, she talked about how the example of others were so important to her in her spiritual journey. Simply sharing the things that we naturally do with others and understanding that these things are very important. For example, she spoke of a gentleman who suggested that she might enjoy attending one of our Now Creation study groups. And then at the study group, a lady turned to her and simply said, "Isn't meditation absolutely wonderful?" And how that spurred her on. And how another member of our group constantly held expanding future visions for her. The point that I want to make is how important you are in the lives of others. Never underestimate the power of your example to assist others in their development, especially when you are prompted, when you receive an inspiration to do so. You are modeling a way of living that the world is desperately in need of. You are becoming a stability point, not just for yourself, but for your family and friends, and I would suggest for all of humanity. Please remember how important you are in the overall plan of creation. You are what God is doing. Secondly, the speaker also addressed how limiting her current religion had become for her. Her religion just repeated the same weekly cycle, just as many religions repeat the same annual cycles, year after year after year. I often call these occurrences the sickly cyclicals. They just go around and around and around, and nothing seems to change, and mostly they end up saying, "You're a sinner." Whereas our speaker began to say to herself, "Well, what's next?" Instead of going in circles, she wanted to expand, to grow, not just paying lip service to things that no longer spoke to her. Then she said something that was very, very interesting. She said that she felt within herself there was an inner knowing. There was an inner knowing that there was so much more to what was going on in her spiritual center. And this inner knowing became her reference point in life. This inner knowing became her reference point in life. Although she wasn't quite sure exactly where it was leading her, she knew that it was leading her to the expansion that she desired. Do you not have that same inner knowing? Are you not tired of the sickly cyclicals just going in spiritual circles? Are you not ready for, and are you not embracing the spiritual expansion that our speaker addressed? You are ascending. You are ascending. You are ready for the expansion of consciousness. Thirdly, our speaker also found that what she was looking for, she was able to find in the study groups of Now Creations. While we in Now Creations are not the only group wherein one can find their way, we are certainly one group. We are one group of many who are showing the way. I hope you feel good about that. What we do in our groups is an amazing expansion of consciousness. But rather than tooting our own horn, let me return to the speaker and allow her comments to address the next several issues. The fourth thing the speaker addressed was the importance, the absolute importance of belonging to a group of like-minded souls. She recalled the support and encouragement that the group gave her just by showing up at their regular meetings, She would often say that, well, if one member of the group was doing something, that she could make the same effort. She was beginning to realize that her group was becoming a spiritual family, that there was a sense of oneness felt at a deeper level of knowing that she was now able to feel with the members of her group. It was the first time she ever felt spiritual unity with others at the very same level at which they seemed to be experiencing it. Did not our speaker exemplify for us what many of us are now experiencing? There is a spiritual oneness that is clearly apparent in all of the groups of now creations. And it is growing to include not just the members of the one group, but members of all of the groups of now creations. I encourage you to join one of our groups and experience the growth. Such a difference. But the far more beautiful aspect of this oneness is the inspiration to bring the oneness to all of the people in our lives, to all of our family and friends, and to understand that everyone in a sense is really looking for that oneness. We want to have that togetherness, but at the deeper soul level. It is such an important thing just to realize that the oneness we share with each other is a oneness that we are inviting others to, especially our family and our friends, let alone the evolution of our species. The speaker continued with 3 other relevant points which generated much discussion in the participants of the open forum. Her fifth point was the importance of her daily, I want to stress the word daily, spiritual practice. From the moment of awakening in the morning and before she got out of bed, she talked about her 4 daily intentions. To say the least, our speaker has a robust daily practice that includes daily yoga, daily meditation, and daily time for her spiritual study, especially the alchemy material of Jim Self. All of this in the midst of being a spouse, the mother of 2 small children, and running her own business. Her spiritual practice was very inspirational to the many who listened. People felt that, well, if she could do it, they could do it too. But this aspect of the speaker's practice generated several nice comments for all of us, such as, each of us needs to decide what is the best for us. We don't have to do what someone else is doing, but what is the best for us? But we must decide and not just procrastinate. Secondly, we are not in competition of who can do more. And there was a wonderful discussion, and yet a sense of satisfaction developed that each one of us should simply be who we are. No comparing, but no procrastination. Thirdly, being your best self is the most important thing you can do. And the essence of being your best self is listening to your own internal teacher who will guide you to being your best self. I want to say that again. The essence of being your best self which you must determine, is learning to listen to your internal teacher and allow your internal teacher to guide you into what is that best self. Oh yes, and don't procrastinate. Sixth, the speaker was clear about the importance also of cleaning up the debris in her life. Cleaning up what no longer fits, and being able to clean up our past. Cleaning up our past without any guilt and shame that would keep us imprisoned in the past. It is such an important thing for each one of us to do the same, and to be able to do so without guilt and without shame. First, by simply understanding that who we are now is not who we were in the past. I need to say that again. That who you are now is not who you were in the past. You've changed. And secondly, not allowing that shame and guilt, but also being able to set aside what no longer fits. Such setting aside of what no longer fits, of baggage, is such an important part of our expansion. As Jim Self often reminds us, you can't take your baggage with you. It is this meticulous examination of what no longer fits that is truly the beginning of our movement forward. Understand clearly that when you remove what no longer fits, then you're ready to expand. Understand two things. You must remove what no longer fits, but expand. Get ready for the greater consciousness. It's one thing to get over the struggle of the past, but the fun, the joy, is the expansion of knowing what you're doing, of conscious awareness. This movement forward was the seventh and last point addressed by the speaker. I should begin by saying that she not only addressed this forward movement, but she addressed it with great enthusiasm. With great enthusiasm. In her own words, I can't wait for what is waiting for me. I can't wait for what is waiting for me. I'm excited for the future. At this moment, I think her enthusiasm just really clearly was infectious for all of us. All of us were taken up by the energy of her excitement. What was equally impressive, however, was the accompanying comment that she made about her future, one with which I totally agree. She said that she was unsure of the details of her future, but she was absolutely sure that she is being guided because she now listens to her internal teacher. Say that again. Unsure of the details, but absolutely sure that she is being guided properly because she's listening to the voice of her internal teacher. I could not agree more. In fact, as we take the time to listen to our internal teacher, the more our internal teacher can teach us. You must take the time to listen. Don't delude yourself. You're not going to grow without taking the time to enter into the stillness. Very, very important that our practice of going inward, of taking the time to listen, is an absolute requirement for our greater growth. If you do not take the time to listen, your growth will have to come from external factors that will cause you and others unnecessary suffering. Yes, I will say that again. If you don't take the time to go inward, your growth is going to have to come from external factors, which cause pain to others as well as to yourself. If you do not take the time to go inward on a daily basis, your immediate future will not be filled with well-being. But guess what? When you do take the time to go within, your immediate future will be blessed with well-being. You are creating your reality, so why not create it from abundance rather than from lack? In conclusion, it's really been a joy to share these several comments with you from our Open Forum sessions. On this past Wednesday morning, you should have received the dialogue from our speaker with an email. I'd like to also encourage you to listen certainly to it, but also to join us with our next Open Forum meeting next Sunday, November the 15th at 6 o'clock p.m. by simply going to our website, nowcreations.org, clicking on Study Groups, scrolling down to Open Forum, and our passcode is 0118. Now Creations, Study Groups, Open Forum, passcode 0118. One last point. There was one other thing that the speaker acknowledged, namely the sense of oneness that she feels now with the members of Now Creations and with the God Spirit herself, the God Spirit himself, the God Spirit itself. She does not feel alone. We do not feel alone. We are one with each other, helping each other to know the all that is. One with each other, helping each other to explore the beauty of all that is as us. Let me now take you into meditation, and what a joy it is to do so. And let us begin very simply as we normally do, by simply following the breath, just breathing in and breathing out, and allowing the breath to settle us, to settle our bodies, settle our minds, and to bring our souls to the fore. Please begin. I'm now going to ask you to notice something. Would you simply notice how good you feel right now? Just notice how good you feel. Now, may I suggest to you why you feel so good? What I suggest is that the comments made by our speaker are resonating with you. We have a common space. When one speaks most individually, that person speaks most universally. Our speaker touched that which was within her, which enabled her to now touch that which is within you. Do you not clearly understand this? It's the same thing with you. When you speak from your heart center, that common space in you influences the space in others. I mean, right now, don't you just feel like you want to love everyone? Just want to embrace everyone, or maybe go out and hug a tree? Everyone, everything you're seeing from your heart space. And now would you just notice again how good you feel? How good you feel. Now honestly, just ask yourself the question. If you feel this good right now, why would you not want to feel this good all the time? I think that's a pretty logical question. If you feel so good right now, well, why wouldn't you want to feel like this all the time? Oh, you might be saying, well, you know this, here I am sitting in quiet meditation, but geez, the world's out there. Yes, it is. But you can learn to approach the world from the space you're sitting in right now. If you do not approach the world from the space you are in right now, the world will take over. You'll be in the University of Hard Knocks. A lot of unnecessary suffering, pain, distress. It need not be. Now, let's be clear. Your internal teacher is not dumb. Your internal teacher is a lot smarter than any teacher in the world. When you approach any situation in the world, your internal teacher truly sizes it up. It knows what to do. It gives you guidance. And will direct you through whatever's occurring. Now, might I add, which more and more is becoming more and more joyful. Your internal teacher is not there just to bail you out. Your internal teacher is not just there to save you from more trouble. It will do that. But it's not the true reality you want to create, much more coming from joy and happiness and constructive views of life, joyful living, joyful giving. This is what your internal teacher wants to show you. Oh, did I say you have to daily go within? You cannot think your way to your internal teacher. The pathway to your internal teacher is not through your mind. It is directly to your heart. And when you speak from your heart, you speak to everyone. When you speak from your mind, you speak to no one except yourself. Our speaker spoke from her heart. And has inspired us to do the same.
you need to be within that space. I honor thee, seen through eyes of illusion, seen through spirit. We are one. I honor thee. I honor thee. I honor thee. Namaste. I honor thee. I honor thee. I honor thee. I honor thee. Namaste. I honor thee. Namaste. I honor thee.
What an absolute joy to share this Sunday service with you. Your advance in consciousness is only a foretaste. Let's continue to help each other and all others. Namaste, dear one. Namaste.